remember opening the door and you were sat there and you were huge. There was points when I was like, is this really going to be the rest of my life? Like, I don't know, is this what I want?
I'm getting really upset.
I don't get upset. I think it was just a constant emotional roller coaster. That's the only way to explain it. Like, I never knew what far I was going to get on the day. The steroids sent you loopy. Like, you were 1 minute you were like fucking crying on the floor. It's like, you fucking prick. Why don't you leave now? Why don't you leave now? Go on, I'm better now. Fuck off. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You just need to keep going.
Yeah.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Taheris channel.
So we are back with a part 3. So it's finally me and Cameron on camera. It's been a while since I feel like we've actually been on camera, sitting back here on the infamous sofa. But I just want to say a really big thank you for, you know, all the messages I received over part 1 and part 2. And I feel like part 3 is a really great video because it kind of is a bit different. It's you know, Cameron from the outside looking in, and I think a lot of people who may be having these issues with other people, I think it would be great to kind of see Cameron's insight and transition throughout this whole process. So I definitely think it's a good video. Yeah,
it's weird because like I never really thought about getting involved in it, and then I think you got quite a lot of questions around people asking me how did Cam find it, and obviously you spoke about me in the last couple of videos. So I think it'll be good. I mean, she's got some questions that I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen them.
He has.
So it's literally just going to be off the dome. So apologies if I insult anyone or...
No, you won't insult anyone. You won't insult anyone.
But yeah, guys, so let's get into part 3 of Farahs Journey.
So before I start, so I originally was actually going to ask some of my own questions to Cameron, but you guys, some of you guys wrote some really good questions, and I feel like you kind of covered it all. So I feel like I'm just going to ask the questions from the questions box that I put up because they're really diverse. No, but everything I wanted to ask is in here. Okay. Like these are all the questions I probably would have asked. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just get as many questions as we can out, and yeah, let's kick it off.
Okay.
So question number 1. What was the most difficult part about seeing me unwell?
I think the one thing that really stands out for me the most out of I'll kind of talk to you and talk to you guys as well. The one thing that really stood out for me the most, and I think it's when it really hit me the most as well. I remember I used to come obviously see you at night time in the hospital, and obviously bring you food and whatever, snacks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember going into the ward, and the nurse was like proper blessed. She was lovely because you had your own room, so I was able to kind of come in, and she was cool because obviously Farah was a bit upset, so she kind of allowed me to come in after hours and that. And we just sit there and talk. We were, at that point we were genuinely just friends, though. To be fair, there was nothing between us. We were just friends. Yeah. But I obviously liked her, and I just remember opening the door, and you were sat there, and you were huge, like. You were so big because obviously they pumped her with so many steroids, and I was just like, fuck. I was like, is this the right room? I was like, oh, my bad, sister. I started lowering my gaze and that. No, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny.
No, but I do this. It's fine.
I think that's when it was like, wow, this shit is real. Like, you are fully getting pumped with steroids, and not the good kind either. Yeah. Like that was probably the hardest, or I say the hardest moment, but I guess the moment that it hit me the most. Yeah. That I was like, shit, this is real. Like this is real. Like she's got a problem, and I just kind of felt hopeless at that moment because I didn't know how to fix it. I guess I didn't really ever let off to you about that. I think we spoke about it afterwards, and I said to you like I was a bit shocked. Like
Cameron has this really good thing of not making an issue. Yeah, he's got a great poker face. So if I tell him something's wrong, because he knows I panic naturally, he will always try and play off something as though it's absolutely fine. Yeah. However, sometimes that can come across as though he doesn't care. Yeah. Because
which is not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case. But like I will say, babe, like this is happening, and he'll be like, it's fine. And I think that I'm just like, why are you not seeing it for what it is? But in his mind, he's like, I am fucking panicking. I just don't want to panic with you because then we'll both just be in a panic and then we'll lose our shit. And then sometimes I think I get a little bit upset because I'm like, oh, like you're not taking this seriously, but you are.
I think there's ways of, I've obviously had to alter the way I address things. So yeah, that's probably the
one of the hardest.
Yeah, one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, next question. Did you at any point feel like it was getting too much?
Oh man, like
really?
So many times. So many times.
Really?
Yeah, like it not in a bad way. Well,
that's really upset me.
It was like there was a lot of
I didn't think it was ever getting too much.
No, of course it was. Like it was hard because obviously it was like a complete change in our dynamic of, I think obviously when we got a little bit more into it and we were actually kind of seeing each other, it was a different type of seeing, because there was times where obviously you'd want to go out, but then obviously you were...
I'm getting really upset.
I don't get upset, like, and it was just, like she couldn't do certain things.
Yeah.
Like we'd be driving somewhere, and obviously where she was taking a lot of, again, these steroids and these drugs, they just put her to sleep. So we'd be going out somewhere, we'd be fully ready. By the time we got there, she'd KO. And I used to feel bad for like trying to wake her up and go into the restaurant or go in to get food or do something with her. So that
I was tired so much. I don't think I really spoke about that much, but I think one of the things that was crazy is how much I slept. Like to the point where people would be like, wow, like Farah's been sleeping for like 15, 16 hours a day. Like I would just sleep. I'd get up, maybe have something and then sleep. My body was just it was just constantly aching, constantly in pain. And I think sometimes sleep is just not a way out, but it's just like,
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, I think a big thing for me as well, obviously everyone knows that I'm a very active person, you know, I like to stay busy.
Lord, does everybody know that he's an active person?
I like to stay busy, and obviously I felt at that moment in time I was slowing down, and I kind of, I don't know, there was points when I was like, is this really going to be the rest of my life? Like, I don't know, is this what I want, kind of thing.
And this is really hard having this conversation.
Yeah, but being honest with you.
Of course, no, of course.
Like, this is from my perspective. Like, don't get me wrong, I never ever said these things to her, but these are the kind of things that were going through my mind. Like, so yeah, and I'm sure she thought the same as well. She was like, do I really want to keep this guy grounded when he wants to do his stuff? And I think you even said to me plenty of times, like, just leave me, like, why are you still here, kind of thing. And I think the love always kind of overcome everything. So there was obviously times where I was like, fuck, this is hard, man, this is tough, like, why am I dealing with this? But then obviously at the same time, like, I loved her to bits, and I wanted to be there and support her. So yeah, of course, there was real hard times in terms of that.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. Next question. I didn't think it was going to be this.
We're going to argue tonight, guys. She's like, you fucking prick. Why don't you leave now? Why don't you leave now? Go on, I'm better now. Fuck off.
No, I promise. I'm not going to be like that, but... It's definitely quite true, because you know what, like, although we've had these passive conversations, we've never actually fully had like this conversation that we're having right now. So I think hearing it is a little bit like, wow.
The next video is going to be like how me and Cameron divorced.
Part 4, where it all went wrong. Next question. How did you feel seeing your partner's whole look change? Did it affect how much you were attracted to Farah?
Do you know what? I actually knew this question was going to be asked.
Of course.
Okay. Has anyone ever seen the film Shallow Hal?
Oh my god! Did you just go?
because I look back now and I look at the photos. Wait. I look back now and I look at the photos and I'm like, God damn!
Yeah.
Like, you was big. Like, yeah. But then I never seen you as big. I always used to think you was like the most beautiful person I've ever been with and I've ever met, and you know, I loved you to.
But I think I'm like that because I look back at some of your pictures, and although like you didn't have an illness, but But like I look back at like some of your haircuts and your trims or your beard, and I'm like, yo, like.
I used to walk around with a little porno tash, and
he did,
and some little Chico thing.
Mate,
here.
he had like 4 hairs out.
Yeah, like so, and I used to think I was the man.
I thought he was the man, but then when we look back, we're like, is that what we were attracted to?
Yeah.
And I think everyone's like that. I think when you look back a year ago, you look back at some of your pictures, you think, fucking hell, like, how did I wear that, or how did I look like that? It's like fashion and trends.
There's like, don't get me, like, I've just got to go back to that Shallow Hal point, because I loved her so much. I guess I seen past it. It was never a thing. I never looked at her as big. I always just loved her for who she was at that point in time. So.
But we do look back at some of our photos and think, what the hell? Yeah, do you know what? And I think the same for me. So I think sometimes I didn't realise how big I was. Like, don't get me wrong, I knew I changed, but like I said, I look back, I mean, I was showing Cameron a picture not long ago, and I literally looked at it and I was like, you took these pictures of me knowing that I looked like such a fat bitch. I was like, no, how did you let me pose? And I was posing on like some jacuzzi thing, and like the rolls were just mad. It was just looking hella mad.
But at the same time, I was never going to be like, nah, babe, you know what, I'll be real, I'm not going to take photos of you because you look like a 10-ton truck. Do you know what I mean? I've never said that to her. I've never said these things. Like I said, I seen past it. I never looked at her big. She used to ask me, am I big? And I'd be like, nah, are you crazy? Like, you're beautiful, don't be silly. So, So Shallow Hal, if you've never seen that film, you'll understand exactly what I mean. Yeah,
definitely. Okay, next question. How did you deal with my changes in mood?
It was tough. It was hard because I never knew what I was going to get. Like, the steroids sent you loopy. Like, you were 1 minute you were like fucking crying on the floor, and I'd be picking you up and putting you in the mirror like, babe, you can do this, I believe in you, like, you're the best person. And then there'd be other times where she was just like fucking shouting at me, I hate you, I don't want to be with you no more. And I'd be like, no babe, please, I love you, oh my god, please, why, don't leave me. There was bare times like that. And then there was also times where I was just like, alright, fuck you, like, I'm done, like, if this is how you want to be. I think it was hard. Like, I don't know. I don't actually know the answer to that question. We just kind of got through it.
Yeah.
Like, we had real big ups and downs, like crazy ups and downs. And I think it was just a constant emotional roller coaster. That's the only way to explain it. Like, I never knew what far I was going to get on the day. Like, sometimes, like, if she didn't text me in the morning, I'd be like, alright, cool, she's in a pissed off mood, or she's upset and he's trying.
It's actually crazy. There were days like that where I just wouldn't.
Yeah, she'd just ignore me, and I'd message her, and then she would just ignore me, and then like I'd be like, oh, I'll come to your house, kind of thing, and you know.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, alright, fine. Well, what do you want, kind of thing. I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, I just want to make sure you're alright. That's all. So yeah, I guess I don't really have an answer for it because it was just, like I say, an emotional roller coaster. I think there was ups and there was downs.
Yeah.
The key thing that stands out for me, I remember you crying one day so bad, and you were just literally on the floor, and I was just like, I felt hopeless, and I just picked you up and I just put you in front of the mirror, and I just told you to look at yourself. I was literally just like, look at yourself. I was just like, you can do this. Like, I believe in you. Like,
Cameron should be a motivational speaker.
Yeah, I was just like, you can do this, you can fight this, like, you just don't give up, like, because you've come so far. Do not give up now.
Yeah.
There is light at the end of the tunnel, you just need to keep going.
Yeah.
And I think that was, there was good times and bad times.
Yeah.
So I think, there's no real answer, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
I don't have an answer.
You just take it as it comes,
don't every day was different. Like, I didn't know, like I say, what far I was going to get. So,
do you still know what far you're going to get now?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Not much has really changed on that front. Okay, next question. This one's a bit of a weird one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How did Cameron know you was the one despite my illness?
How did I know you was the one despite your illness? I don't really know.
I feel like they're asking, how did you know I was the one for you despite me being sick?
But I'd already fallen in love with you by that point. Like, I was already madly in love with you. So the illness was just a part of our journey.
Yeah.
Like, it was that journey, see, Farahs Journey, our journey. It was just a part of our journey. I never looked at it as like a burden. I always looked at it as like it's just a challenge that we had to get through. And, you know, I would like to think, and I'm sure she would, but she'd stand by me if something happened to me. And I think that's the whole point. I think that's the whole point. Like, when you, I guess obviously for us being young, and obviously it was a bit different because you're a young couple or young married couple having to deal with an illness, whereas normally that stuff happens when a little bit later on in life. And you know, I hope
we wasn't even married when we were going through this.
Yeah, I hope anyone else's family are going through this, something like this now. Or, you know, I hope you guys, you know, will get through it and you will see through it. And I think there's always going to be trials and tribulations with any marriage or relationship, and I think this is just one of them.
Yeah.
So to answer that question, I already loved her, so I knew she was the one, even though she was sick. Like,
these things happen, don't they? Like, you know, people have, like, God forbid, accidents or, you know, stuff that happen in life, and I think you just take, it's like your brother or your mum or your dad. It wouldn't stop them from being your brother, or your mum or your dad because something's happened to them. It's just something that just comes with life, unfortunately. And
like, I don't want to sound morbid, but imagine if, like, you have a car crash tomorrow and then you're paralysed in the car crash and something, and
it shouldn't compromise your love. If you really love somebody, you adjust and you make. Although it can be difficult, I would like to believe that my love is unconditional. It's not conditional in sickness and in health. So
yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's probably the answer.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely think, one thing to add, I definitely think that, you know, when you're trying to support somebody who's going through something like this, I think trying to understand how somebody is feeling and accepting it for what it is, and trying to change. And I think a lot of what he does, I think sometimes the reason why it's misconstrued is because Kamran tries to look for an answer as to why some things are happening, and unfortunately sometimes there isn't really an answer. And don't get me wrong, like, I always love, you know, how much you support me and things like that, but I think one of the things that Kamran, in the beginning, maybe not so much now, but I think in the beginning he lacked the empathetic side. I think in his mind he wanted to find me an answer, and in that process he didn't really know how to just be there and be in that moment. You know, he was just trying to find a way to fix this situation, and sometimes you just need a hug. Like, I just wanted someone next to me just to not try and tell me that everything was going to be okay, but just, you know, without saying the word, just be there. And I think now, obviously, don't get me wrong, like, you're a lot different, but I think one of the things in the beginning was that you just, you were so busy trying to find the answers that it came across a little unempathetic. But that's
I think it goes back to the first point. I didn't ever want to make it a thing for it to become a thing. Because then if we're both panicking about something, then but I guess you're right in what you're saying. The comfort side of things is a little bit different to me panicking. And me just giving you a hug and saying everything's going to be okay is a lot different to me just kind of blindsiding you, I guess. Like,
I think that's what it was, because he didn't want to panic.
Don't worry about it, you'll be fine.
Let's move on. He'd brush it off, but the reason why he's brushing it off is because he wants me to not panic. But then in my mind I'm like, wow, he just brushed it off and doesn't really care, and I'm going through something. So I think sometimes how your intention is, although it's the best intention, sometimes it can be misconstrued as neglect, or I don't know, something like that. But and I think obviously that's one of the things that I've learned about him, and I think he's learned about me. Like, I think throughout this process I have been a lot more emotional, and I think when I first met you I don't think I was that emotional. I don't think like I was, whereas now I think I'm a lot more emotionally dependent. But I think I'm a little bit more vocal about that now, and I think in turn he's a little bit more vocal about when I'm going. So next question, what is the biggest change you've seen since Farah's been ill, and her biggest achievement?
Interesting. That's a good question. So
that is a good question.
So what is the say the question again? So what is the biggest change you have seen? So, as like a bad thing?
No. I think what is the biggest change? No, I feel like it's what's the biggest change since I've been ill. So from being ill till now, what's the biggest change you've seen? And what's my biggest achievement in all of that? What would you say my biggest achievement throughout all of that is?
I know that. That's quite easy. So obviously, when I first met Farah, she was very like this. She was like this Instagram model going out.
Can you not? Please, it makes me really cringe.
Bougie dinner, bougie this, bougie
it makes me cringe so hard.
And obviously, I've just seen you grow into this like person that isn't, and like, not to say it was fake, because it wasn't, because you were living that life, but I think you've slowly realised that that's not what makes you happy. Like, nice things make you happy, I get it, but it, like, I've seen like you love helping people now, like you love talking to people, like, you know, you're on your Instagram and you're replying to people, and you know, people are sharing their stories.
Can I just say one thing in that? Sorry. It's actually really funny you say that, because years ago, before I was even on Instagram, and I was first on Snapchat before Instagram, I actually used to do this. So I get people now messaging me saying, I used to speak to you years ago on Snapchat. So I used to put up like stories on Snapchat about like discussions about like health and mental well-being and all this sort of stuff, and I used to talk to people, and it was really weird because I was like really young and I felt like a little agony aunt. It was really like it was really weird, but honestly, like, I kid you not, guys, I've had so many messages from like within the last year or 2 years of people saying, Farah, I was following you years ago on Snapchat, or I used to speak to you years ago. And then I think what happened was, because I got, let's just call the word insta fucking famous, because that's just what we're gonna call it, I didn't really. I think obviously I think I got lost in the sauce a little bit. I think that is the only way to put it, because I don't want to. It's hard because you can't reply to like hundreds and hundreds of people. Like, it is difficult. Even now it's difficult. Like, I know I only have however many followers, but I kid you not, I get so many messages on a daily basis, and like I sit there for ages talking to people, and it is difficult because you want to give everyone each like individual time, but at the same time, like, I could be on my phone for hours like talking to people. So it is trying to find that balance, but I do love it. Like, I genuinely love speaking to people, and when I make these videos and people tell me their story, like, I've literally got one DM right now I'm like waiting to respond to, of a girl telling me she got colitis and her friend forwarded her the video, and she was basically saying it was so relatable, and she feels like she can't articulate the emotion to say how she's feeling, and that video, like, you know, it really transpired within her, and that's why I do it. Because I am able to be the voice for certain people who are going through what I was going through when I didn't have a voice. Because when I was going through this, I couldn't share it. I was so secretive about it because I was embarrassed. That is the genuine reason. I was so embarrassed that I just felt like no one can see me. Like, I've got this image.
But that's what I mean, though. So she's gone from this girl, this it girl, I guess that's the only way I can describe it, to this kind of really recluse and closed book. And obviously I seen that side of it, and obviously now the transition to where she is obviously now is amazing, because like I say, after that first video that you posted, I think you got over 100 messages, over 100 messages, and she sat there replying to every single one, and I think that made me feel, I wasn't proud of it, like, oh, you did such a good job, but it was just nice to see that, you know, the video really impacted people and it helped people. So I think that is probably, one of the biggest things, obviously the change. And then obviously the achievement is that obviously, you know, I'm going to go straight to the fitness side of things. The fact that she's back in the gym now, you know, she's lost a lot of weight, you know, she's looking good, she's feeling herself again. And I like... Alright, calm down, you're not that good looking. Right, relax.
Whatever.
Relax.
I'm a shallow hell bitch. You will see me as beautiful no matter what.
No, I'm joking. But no, that you know, to see her kind of battle through. And there were days where she was not feeling well, and she still battled through, and she still trained, and you know, she still ate on plan, and I think that is amazing to see, especially when obviously I'm massively into that. So yeah, that was awesome. I think that's your best transformation point. And obviously that kind of going from the it girl to the recluse now to sharing, and helping people. I feel so much more at peace with myself, and I feel like I'm so much happier with who I am now. Who I am in real life is who I am now on social media, and I feel like I don't have to. It's not a front. I feel like I have a purpose. So I feel as though, you know, when I make videos and I speak to people, I feel like people call themselves influencers on Instagram, but I don't feel like you can be an influencer if you're not influencing people's mind positively, or, you know, putting a healthy lifestyle out there. I think the word influencer is so rinsed out. Just because you get paid to because I personally don't think that posting, you know, really nice outfits is an influencer. I don't, in myself. I feel like that's a blogger, but I feel like to call yourself an influencer, you need to be influencing a generation positively. People's mindset, like I personally would say I feel like an influencer because I help influence people. I don't think, and anyone can be an influencer. You don't have to have a following to be an influencer. I guess then if you look at it like that, if someone wears something nice, you've influenced them to buy it.
I don't know, I think it's just such a shallow version of the word. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just...
Just to be, and I guess hopefully you're not doing it, but I don't want to be sitting here bashing people that do that, because
No,
of
course. This is how I see being an influencer, and you don't have to have a 50k, 100k followers to be an influencer. Anyone can be an influencer. You can influence your mum, your dad, your brother, you know, like, take great pride in impacting one person's life, even if it is just one person. That's one person more than anyone else have done. So I think that's the way I personally would look at it.
God will always times your deeds anyway, so...
Exactly, and like I always think, you know, I've had conversations with people, honestly, where people have told me that they wanted to commit suicide, and me speaking to them that night or that evening has really helped change their mind. Honestly, like, I've had some really dark conversations with people before, and it's crazy because I don't know these people, I've never seen them. These people probably have best friends, you know, sisters, brothers, but they reached out to you or they spoke to you, and I'm always so grateful that these people reach out to me. It honestly really does. It makes me so happy because I can just speak to people and just it's hard. I get it. I've been there. I know what it's like to sometimes want to speak to somebody really far away because you just don't want to speak to someone in your circle or have that conversation where potentially one of your friends could go and say it to somebody else and people know your business. So I get it.
That's not a free pass for you, man, then to start talking to my gal.
I don't reply to guys.
Yeah?
I don't reply to guys. No guys, I think if a guy came to me though and said that they were having an issue, I'd reply. Maybe about, like, if they had clients.
Would you?
Yeah, I think I would. It'd just be like, it'd be a nice conversation. Watch all the man then be like, yo, Farah, you know, I'm feeling a bit sick these days. I'm feeling a bit ill.
Can you influence me and maybe get some
to me about? Oh shit.
That's not a free pass.
No, it's not a free pass. I'm mainly speaking predominantly to the female about there.
Cool.
But yeah, I think that's that on that.
Yeah.
So guys, last question. How did you deal with Farah's mental health? Which I think is a great question to end this with as well.
I think I dealt with it really badly. I think I'm getting better, but I dealt with it really badly. So I'm very hard-headed when it comes
He's black
to...
and white in a world full of colour, that's what I always say.
Yeah, I think, I'm terrible with that kind of stuff. Like, you had some friends over recently and, you know, they were talking about it and I was just kind of like, no. Like, and I think I need to understand, and it goes back to your point in your video, that not everyone can deal with things in like certain ways. Like, for instance, if I feel low or if I feel like I've had a bad day at work, and I know it's completely different to mental health.
No, but you don't invalidate yourself.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's a fair point. Like, you can have a low moment.
If I'm having a low day, my release is the gym. So that's just how I deal with it. So I guess people just need to find a release, but some people don't know how to speak out. Some people don't have that confidence to speak out.
I think you're
back to that point of what you said about not being able to speak out.
This is the thing, right? So Cameron, he is amazing, like I said, at getting up and doing stuff and all this sort of stuff, but Cameron has this mindset where he doesn't understand why people can't get up and do it. And I think this has been one of the biggest struggles because he doesn't understand like mental block. He doesn't understand, he just says, no, just get up and do this. But for me, like, I will say, but I don't feel like it. And in his mind, he sees that like a choice. And I think that's probably one of the most difficult things with having this conversation with him, is understanding that mental health is not a choice. Sometimes people can't find the will to get out of bed, and it's not due to being lazy. You just don't know what's going on in people's head.
I'm not gonna, I'm gonna say something and I'm not gonna apologise for it because this is just how I feel personally. And it's not nothing bad, but I just think, if you mope around all day and you're feeling depressed and you're feeling upset, you just need to get up and do it. And I understand you're talking about mental block. I understand you're talking about mental block and stuff, but I think the more that you seclude yourself somewhere and you put yourself in a mind state that could keep damaging you, I think that's where the problems really come into play.
Okay, let me try and break this down for you. So one, you can't say someone's put themselves in a mind state. It's not a choice, mental health, firstly. It's not a choice. Secondly...
See, I might have offended someone.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I hope no one takes this the wrong way, because this is learning, and we're just being honest. Yeah. And like I said, I might have been in his position one day, which now I'm not, thank God, but it comes with learning. So I hope our transparency doesn't offend anybody. But one, I understand where you're coming from, and to say that just get up and get out of that mood and do it. That is an action that comes with not being clouded or having a clouded judgment. And when you were in a space of having something wrong with you or something wrong with your mental health, I think those options no longer become an option. And it is hard, don't get me wrong, like people do come out of mental health, so there obviously are steps to coming out of mental health, but it's not as simple as just saying get up and do it.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's say you're having a real bad day, lowest of lows.
Yes.
Lowest of lows, like you are bottom of the barrel, you're feeling like shit, whatever. Imagine if I said to you, listen, if you go out and do that, I'll give you £1 million. You're going to get up and do it?
Not everyone will.
Come on, man.
There are people who live in $1 million mansions who kill themselves.
Yeah, oh, fine, fair enough. Yeah, maybe this is see the point. See what she said, mentioned about how
it's mental health.
Yeah,
people say it all the time. Like, look at Kanye West. He's got all the money, but his mental health is still deteriorating because it's a mental aspect.
Yeah.
And I understand where you're coming from. I really do. But babe, you're thinking about people just like, there's a real big difference between having a mopey day, because you're right, if I said I'm really tired today, babe, and you were like, I'll give you £1 million, of course I'm gonna get up and do it. But it's very different, babe, when you start talking about mental health, because there is something that is impacting their level of thinking, and it goes far beyond having a low moment. It's something is really, really distracting their level of thought. And for me, for example, when I was going through what I was going through, I think you can't just turn around and say to me, feel better, because I can't feel better. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I
Fair enough. I'll take that on board. I think
you need to just open up your mindset a little bit to understand that not everybody has.
I guess I've never been.
You're just strong. Yeah,
I've never been in that situation where I understand. Like, having a low day or a stress day at work, I guess, is not the same as
people losing loved ones. People, you know, having anxiety disorder. There are people who have eating disorders. There are so many different aspects to it, and it's like, imagine somebody who's created such an unhealthy, positive in their own mind relationship with food, and although it's unhealthy in their mind, it releases dopamine or serotonin in their mind, right? So that they've created that unhealthy relationship, but to them it makes them feel better. If you were to take that away from them and you would say this is bad for you, we need to get you boom boom boom, in their mind they're not going to see it like that. And although the normal way of looking at it is, oh yeah, that makes sense, in their mind it doesn't make sense, because that's the relationship they've created. And I just think it takes time. I just think it takes a level of understanding. You might think, what, that doesn't make sense. An eating disorder, like, look how big they are, like, they just need to lose weight. That's how a normal person would think, but someone with mental illness, they just don't think like that.
I get it. I think, like I say, right, I'm, like you said, I'm very black and white in a world full of colour. I think that's just my mental state. My mental state has always been be very strong, be very, be resilient. And I think everyone can be like that, but obviously struggles happen.
Do you know what I think?
I think, I don't know what's around the corner. So, something could happen in my life that, completely affects me, and then I might be sitting here thinking, wow, all that shit I was talking like a year ago or 2 years ago, wow, I really understand it now. I understand it more, because obviously, like you said that in the last video as well.
I think one of the ways to break that barrier between having these conversations is to take for face value what someone is telling you. So rather than, if someone says I'm feeling low, understand and believe they're feeling low. Even if it's something trivial in your mind, it might not be trivial in their mind. And we have this conversation a lot, but it is really like when you say you shouldn't feel like that, or I understand you feel like that, but you're just invalidating what they're saying, and then you're making them feel as though they shouldn't speak out, or they shouldn't feel the way they feel. You kind of make them feel stupid for it. Like, if someone says I'm feeling low, in their mind they are feeling low. It is not up to you to decide if they're feeling low or not. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no,
and I think like,
you don't get to pick and choose basically how people are feeling.
Yeah, if someone's coming to you with an emotion, that is their emotion.
Be there to understand.
Be there to understand and not try and change. And I think,
I'm getting better at it.
You are. You're doing good, lad. You're good, lad. You're a good lad.
So guys, that is a wrap of Farah's journey with Cameron this time, part 3.
It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed that.
So have I. It's been quite therapeutic.
I just want to say, if you are going through trials and tribulations, you know, talk to someone. You're not alone. Don't feel like you can't. If you want to reach out to me or Farah, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, probably reach out to Farah because she's a little bit more understanding. I'll be like, yeah, get your ass in the gym, mate. Get your ass in the gym. So yeah, probably reach out to her. Apart from Mandem, you lot just stay unhappy. I shouldn't make jokes. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to.
No, it's okay.
Trying to lighten the mood.
He's deflecting the really sad life he lives.
Yeah. But no, genuinely, guys, if you are going through stuff, do talk to people. Do not suffer in silence. You know, there's
problem shared is a problem halved.
And there's so many places that you can go as well. If you don't want to talk to family members, if you don't feel like they'll understand, there's loads of numbers that you can call. So obviously, you know, this is a topic that seems to become. We hope you.
We love you.
Yes, we do love you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Give it a thumbs up. Comment, tell us what you think of the video. You know, you can always ask us questions.
Sure.
And we'll always reply as well.
So guys, that is the end of the video. As Cameron said, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.
I know. What did I do? What's that? What's that, bro?
Silent.
What's that? Kiss you, man, them. And you get them. Didn't know what to do, so I got it.
Oh, Cameron, you really killed me.
Do that again, bro. One more kiss.
That was mad
Jay-Z, bro.
The Iranian just came out. That was a free.
Fucking hell. Do that again, too.
As Cameron said, guys, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you on the flip side for the next video. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Cool. You little bitch.